FL Studio crashes are extremely frustrating, but they're actually a lot easier to prevent and prepare for than you might think. I've personally helped hundreds of people fix their crashes, and in this video I have a load of really good tips and tricks to help you. They're all written in the description along with timestamps, so if you've tried any, you can simply skip over to the next one. I also mean this as no disrespect to ImageLine. They make a fantastic software. I cannot think of any software I've ever used that hasn't catastrophically crashed on me at some point, and FL Studio is no different. So let's just dive right in. I'm going to try and keep moving through these points quite quickly. The first thing is that you should be using a legit paid-for version of FL Studio 20. Upgrade to the very latest version. It has all the latest bug fixes and crash fixes and whatnots. If you're using pirated software, crashes are just part and parcel of it. So quickly move on to the next one. I'm assuming you're using a legit version of FL Studio. This next tip is not something you have to do every time, but if you're experiencing lots of crashes, the best thing to do is just turn off your computer, let it go cold, start it back up again, and after the computer's settled, only use FL Studio. So don't open up another app, don't use your internet, don't open up some video editor, only use FL Studio. Let the computer just focus on that one task. And often your laptop will display the home screen before it's actually ready to be used. So if you press Ctrl-Alt-Delete and pull up the task manager, if you go into performance, you can actually see how much of your CPU and RAM and whatnots is being used. So sometimes your computer will say it's ready to load a program, but it's doing all these background tasks. So just let all those settle before you try to load a big project in FL Studio, because it will be a really big push on your computer. On to the next one. This is all about loading up a really large project. So when you're loading up a project like this with loads of plugins, just give it some time. You'll see that the cursor has changed to a little clock here. It's loading. Try not to touch anything. Don't click anything. Don't touch your keyboard or your mouse. Often if you try to click anything, the software just crashes and you get that terrible white screen. So just give it some time and be patient. It's really worth it. This is a time I often use to remind myself to like take a drink of water or maybe stand up and give myself a little bit of a break. And now when you think the project's loaded, I'll take your attention to the CPU meter. It's still at 100% or 99. Don't click anything. Just give it a second. It will just take maybe 5-10 seconds. There we go. It's dropped back down. Now you're ready to play. Most of the crashes I've had to deal with out of the hundreds I've helped people with, it's always crashing on the startup. So just make sure that you give it lots of time. Now this whole project is loaded and ready to go. That was a lot of information for FL Studio to load up there. I've just opened up a new project to show you the next tip, which is when you start a new project, something that really helps avoid crashes. If you go to the top, Options, Project General Settings, you find it on these tabs here, Project. Make sure that you assign a data folder specifically for this project. And I've said this a lot in the past, but you click this folder icon. I'm going to scroll down to say this storage drive here. New folder. I'm just going to call it New Project. Yep, I'm one of those people that can't type without looking at the keyboard. Now, if you select that folder and click OK, you can save the whole project in there. And this means that all the WAV files, all the MP3 files, all the data, it's all going to be stored into that folder, which means FL Studio has an easier time locating all the samples for this project. So you then click Yes, and you save your project in there. New project. Perfect. What's also great about this folder is, say you download any samples or files to use in your project, don't keep them in your downloads folder on your computer. Copy and paste them into your project folder, and this keeps everything in one place, which is great in case you do have a crash. At least you know that all your samples are stored into that one folder. And something you must do, because crashes, they just do happen no matter how much good advice you take, something you must do is save backups. And the best way to save a backup is to go into File, Export, Zipped Loop Package. Save this as a zipped folder. Then you can put that on Drive. You could save it on OneDrive or Google Drive or whatever, email it to yourself, put it on a USB stick. When your project inevitably does crash, you can get all your data back from that zipped folder. I try to save a zipped folder at least once a day on a project I'm working on, sometimes multiple times per day. The next tip is about your computer in general. So if you go to your File Explorer and go to this PC, look at your drives that you're running FL Studio from and have your samples on. In this case, I've got sort of a healthy amount free in each, about 60 gigabytes free in these two, 300 gigabytes free in that one. When my FL Studio crashed in my last video, which I included as a blooper at the end, I only had this much space left in each drive. Almost absolutely nothing. coupled with the fact that I was recording the screen capture, which is a whole other heavy software, and I was recording my audio and the video all at the same time, it was just far too much for my computer to cope with. So make sure that you've got plenty of healthy space on your drives. I am by no means a computing expert, but even if you have 500 gigabytes of storage on your computer, a computer always just seems to run smoother if you're only using a small amount of it. If you're using 499, everything just seems so heavy, laggy, buggy. So just, delete files, back them up to an external drive. Try to keep your computer at a healthy level and maybe try to keep it within 50, 75% of its maximum. The next one is that in larger projects like this one, where I've got a lot of samples, I've got about almost 9 gigabytes of samples and information here, on your mixer, just to make things a little bit easier, just disable all your master effects. So even though the project has a lot of plugins on it, the mastering plugins tend to be really heavy. So I've just turned all those off whilst I'm mixing. I don't really need to mix through them. I can do the mastering later in a separate project. You might not want to do this every time, but if you're crashing, try giving your CPU a little bit of an easier time. A lot of the crashes come from just your CPU being completely overloaded, and plugins absolutely eat up your CPU resources. The next one should make your projects load a lot easier because there'll be less data in them. And this project is actually something I'm working on with an artist, and it looks sort of organized, but if I go to the channel rack, it's quite embarrassing. But look, there's just loads and loads of stuff here that I'm no longer using. It's not colored, it's barely named. If I go through all of these and actually delete the stuff I'm not using, it means that the next time FL Studio has to load, it doesn't need to find that sample. It doesn't need to go fetch that plugin. From doing lots of mixes for clients and also producing music, I tend to find the projects that crash the most are the ones that have a load of plugins instead of lots of audio tracks. So for me, I prefer to print as much of the MIDI to audio tracks as I can because I find that the computer has a much easier time just reading one WAV file as opposed to reading some sort of sampler or plugin. But often you still want the flexibility to go and change notes later and such. But in this project here, I've had this MIDI that's been the same for pretty much since the start. It was one of the first elements. It sounds like this. And it just sits along with everything else. And you can see that it's created on this plugin called Signal, which is a really intensive plugin. So what I'm going to do is just print that out. Now there's loads of different ways to print out on FL Studio, but what I prefer to do is to just select the region, plus a little bit extra in case there's a reverb tail. So that's Control, left click and drag, just like that. Find where I sent it to on the mixer, which in this case was slot 27. Then I just press this ARM disk recording icon here, and then I press Alt and R. I'll save it to a 24-bit WAV file, maybe 64-point quality, cut remainder, and press start. So this is just going to very quickly render that little piece of audio. So now you can see that this WAV file sounds exactly the same as the MIDI. Which means that I can actually just delete this MIDI clip, and I can choose to either just disable the plugin, I can just turn it off, but I actually prefer to just delete it from the project if I don't need it anymore. Might be an idea to save the preset, and now already I can see my meter has dropped a little bit in terms of the amount of disk space this project's taking up, and this sound is just great. And furthermore, I can now send this back to the mixer, so I'm going to send it to track 27 again. And now if I open up the mixer, I can now disable this EQ plugin because I no longer need it because it's already been recorded through that EQ. Again, that's going to save me more CPU, more RAM, and just make the project run smoother and less likely to crash. This next one's going to be a little bit frustrating or difficult to hear, but I don't think I've ever had a project crash where I've kept things organized and I've only used FL Studio plugins. So I've used different WAV files, samples from wherever, but I've only used FL Studio stock plugins. It seems from all the crashes I've heard of that a lot of the problems come from third-party plugins not really behaving or talking to FL Studio the way they should. Whether this is their fault, FL Studio's fault, I don't really care. All I know is that it's causing crashes. So there are a few things you can do. First things first, and you won't like to hear this, is just simplify the workflow. There are some plugins which I just have never caused me a crash. One of them is the synthesizer Serum, which is why I love using it. but almost every other plugin in some way has managed to cause some little crash. So start by just using as much stock effects as you can, and when you use third-party effects, add them in one at a time and see if they cause you a problem. Now, you should only do this if you're experiencing crashes. If you're not experiencing crashes, do whatever you want. That's great. But if you are getting crashes, try to just add one brand or one manufacturer of plugins in at a time. For a long time, the Slate Digital plugins were working great for me, and then the iLock authorization was all updated, and I could not use any of their plugins without just a catastrophic crash. It took me many months to actually resolve the issue, but it just led to me going back to some other plugins which I knew were stable. There is a fix for when plugins are misbehaving, which many people tout as just an amazing fix. I'm not so sure. But anyway, if you go into one of these plugins, so in this case I have Contact, which doesn't usually cause a problem for me. In the wrapper settings where this cog is, just click the cog and go into these advanced options here. This one with the plugin and the cog. Now go to Processing and select Make Bridged. And then if that doesn't work for you, potentially try selecting Use Fixed Size Buffers for buggy plugins. And you can find out more about what that actually means here. I know that these two settings are miraculous for some people and it just lets everything work smoothly, but for others it doesn't really make a difference at all. The next tip is all about your sound card. So if you go into Options at the top, select Audio Settings, see what input-output device you have here. So yours will look different to mine, but you'll have some direct sound devices and some ASIO devices. This really is so system dependent, but a lot of people find that the FL Studio ASIO is very stable, or ASIO for all is very stable. Whichever sound card you have, right now I'm using one of these Audient ones, make sure you've got the latest drivers and just try these different ASIO devices, because sometimes one of them will just crash all the time. Sometimes the others are really, really stable. And remember that the best ASIO device for, say, recording your audio to get the lowest latency, sometimes it's not the most stable one when you want to use a really large buffer size when you're mixing and mastering. So just bear that in mind. And something which used to cause crashes for me was when I would use like a web browser with a video player like YouTube, and then I would go into FL Studio and the sound card wouldn't sort of release from Google or from Firefox or whatever I was using. So sometimes on the input output you want to select this auto close, which helps the sound card be used just by the application you're actually using it for. But this is why I recommend if you're doing important work on FL Studio, just restart your computer and then only use FL Studio. One of my final points, but probably one of the most important, is that you may have noticed in FL Studio that they have this issue that some DAWs have and some don't, which is that when you try to load a plugin or an effect or whatever, everything sort of just stops, crunches, glitches a little bit, and then tries to catch up with itself. So I think it's best to get into a good habit of whenever you want to load a new plugin or pull one into focus, just stop the audio, let everything just sit there, and then click to load the plugin. Wait until it's fully loaded, and then start your audio again. The last bit of advice I have is that if none of this is working for you, head to the LoopTalk forum. It's an FL Studio official forum, as long as you've bought FL Studio. And maybe start sort of a support ticket or look through all the threads there, because one thing I can tell you about the FL Studio crashes is that it's extremely unlikely that the crash you're having hasn't been experienced by someone else in the past. Often when software crashes, it's very frustrating. We feel like we're pulling our hair out. We feel like no one else is dealing with these issues, but trust me, it happens. Every software I've ever used, Logic, Studio One, Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, Microsoft Word, everything has crashed on someone at some point. I know it's crashed on me a lot. And if you really dig through the support forums, often you find what you're looking for. It is annoying when all you want to do is make music and the software is crashing, but I can guarantee there is a way out of all these problems. So thank you very much for watching. If you've had crashes and anything's helped you, leave those in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.